Good Morning Wilmington is powered by DART, Delaware's transit service. Moving forward.
Good morning, Wilmington. Good morning, Wilmington. I say good morning, Wilmington. Wake up, y'all. Come on, have a great day.
Good morning, Wilmington. What's going on? It's your main man, Big Iv, the talk of the town, Mr. DETV, and I'm here today on set. And I can't wait till next week because my homegirl, sister from another mister, will be here. Vincenza will be back in full swing. Hope you guys had a wonderful, I want to say vacation, but more of a summer break. But now it's time to get back to business, and the business at hand is to bring you information around Delaware, for Delaware, on a hyper-local level. And it's speaking about hyper-local and speaking about a level that these guys and the Art Museum has set the bar. Let me tell you, allhiphop.com, Gorilla Republic, and the Delaware Art Museum presents the second annual Hip Hop Culture Summit, a free family-friendly event celebrating hip hop's role in social justice, change, and civic engagement. Following the success of last year's event which drew over 1,000 attendees. Can you imagine that? 1,000 attendees in the Delaware Art Museum. Look, you do not want to miss this. I have two of the strongholds, the guys that vision came together and put this together. My main man and my main man Grouchy Greg. What's going on, gentlemen?
So what's up? Oh
my God, it's full circle. Again, it's a full circle moment because we all started, well, you started much before us. Iz and I was out there in the streets when I first met him when it wasn't popular. And now I get to interview you both on Good Morning Wilmington. And you, Grouchy, when I needed you back 15 years ago and had to tell you I had an idea. So now we're here talking about this idea that you cultivated, right? The Hip Hop Summit, because you've been always wanting to bring hip hop to Delaware. And with that, like, how did this happen? How did this go?
Yeah, well, I've known Iz for 20 plus years. Being around in the community, watching him do his activism, the hip hop events that we were both a part of all around the state. And once I found out he was at the Delaware Art Museum, I knew I had a voice on the inside that if I brought something tangible to the table, it had a good shot of coming to life.
Right.
And so, one thing that I felt would be perfect for the art museum was having hip hop culture really represented in there. I know they've done many events surrounding hip hop culture, but I felt like a tentpole event that could be stood up that happens every year at the art museum that's free and open to the public would be something that they may be interested in. And so I sat down with Brother Iz and, he made it happen.
Now, Iz, you've been at the Art Museum for about 5 years now?
No, 20 plus years.
20 plus years?
Yeah.
At the Art Museum?
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
No, you're all right.
My bad.
Yeah.
But I know since you've been there, you've been like really boots on the ground, bringing more culture to the Art Museum. How has that been, and where do you see that in the near future?
Well, it's been basically re-educating, reintroducing people to what the arts especially stands for.
Okay.
It's arts and culture. You one and the other have to coexist together.
Right.
I feel strongly that cultural program has to be a part of the program. The reason why, because I strongly believe we as a people, the more we know about our roots, the better that we can grow as a people.
Yeah.
So it's important to keep cultivating that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm really strong about cultural programming when it comes to when you see our programming out there, just know that's done for a reason, for a purpose.
Yeah.
I feel that we're farmers at the end in the morning. Like we have to cultivate the land, we have to cultivate the people, because I do felt like there was a void when I first came out here to Delaware. I was like, well, I get it that there's things to stand for, but what are the things to keep it going, to keep it growing?
Right.
And it was beautiful. Like when Brother Grouchy Greg, he came with the idea of like, hey, how about a hip hop summit, happening here at the Art Museum. And, we put our minds together and we were like, well, let's make sure it's represented through the culture. Let's make it different than the others, because I know how hip hop events have grown. I know Brother Grouchy Greg knows himself. And I know sometimes it's more about entertaining.
Right.
But this is about empowerment.
Right.
This is about educating.
Yeah.
So we wanted this summit to be something that the youth and the others can grow from it and learn from it. But at the same time, we look at it from a schooling perspective too as well. We have to be responsible about the future. So that's why the summit is so important. But I'm glad that, that Grouchy saw this vision, and sometimes, we as himself as a creator, we need brothers and sisters to help bring this together.
Right. And with that, so you go to him about the summit. You have it at the Delaware Library, Delaware Art Museum, and poof, 1,000 people later. Did it exceed what you thought it was going to do?
Yes, it wasn't that simple though.
No, okay.
You know what I mean? I wish it was poof 1,000 people. Yeah. You know what I mean? I know what you're saying, but I mean, there's a lot that goes into it in terms of the planning, the resources that the Delaware Art Museum is generously providing, and how they allow us to pretty much take over the entire art museum for the day to really express ourselves and show what hip hop culture is all about.
Right.
And so, it's been an interesting process to work with the Delaware Art Museum to actually build out various sections of the museum and actually program it around the themes of each one of these cultural summits. So this year's theme is hip hop and activism. And, it's centered around, what hip hop has done since its inception in terms of cultural awareness, activism, and, being a genre that is uniquely positioned to spread politically themed messages to the community.
Right. And with that being said, we're talking about over 20 years ago when hip hop took on a form of activism, coming out with artists such as King Star, Public Enemy, and I don't want to say this, like the Beastie Boys. I mean, the song "Fight" was a fight for your right to party, right? But you have like some of the guests that are going to be there to speak on a level of activism, and that's going to be.
Flavor Flav, the co-founder of Public Enemy with Chuck D, who actually flipped the Beastie Boys song, Fight for Your Right to Party. They have a song called Party for Your Right to Fight.
Yes.
Right? So, Public Enemy, obviously trailblazers in terms of hip hop and politics and merging those and activism and merging that into a form of music that we used to call and still call edutainment.
Right.
You're entertained by it, but you're educated by it. And, having Flav around coming off the heels of the Olympics, obviously his success with reality TV is going to be really beneficial in terms of, drawing in a bigger crowd.
Right.
The thing about Flav is that, a lot of people know him. He's known as hip hop's most famous hype man. But, he's also a trained musician.
Right.
He's battled substance addiction and he's been sober now for, 6-7 years. So he's going to be talking more so about his activism and his sobriety. And it's a perfect timing for us because the elections are November 4th.
Right.
And so it's also designed to make sure that we're sending the message to the people, participate in the process of electing your local officials and the national officials.
And before we, I want to hop on that right there. How important do you believe hip hop is going to play, or the culture is going to play in electing a new president?
I mean, it's already playing a big part. Whether it's on Kamala's side, she had Quavo introduce her. She had Megan Thee Stallion at her first rally. You have a variety of rappers, drill rappers, endorsing and supporting Trump.
Right.
So whether, you're Trump or Kamala, hip hop is leading the forefront, maybe more so than any other form of music until, Taylor Swift came out with her endorsement. I mean, she's one of the biggest artists in the world. But you still have all of these people out here all of these rappers making these endorsements. And it's even gotten so crazy that now there's fake news going out. This weekend they claimed that Eminem endorsed Kamala, but it was fake. But I'm just saying that's how important the genre is to the music.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I just, want to readdress the thing that hip hop has always been about social justice and about activism since day one. And that was the reason why we came together about this, to address that, because it's about really what made hip hop culture so strong around the world.
Right.
Nobody knew what was going on in our neighborhoods if it wasn't for our people that was voicing it out through music or through the culture. There's a reason why we even have battles at this. We have MC battles, B-boy battles, graffiti battles. Back then, back in 74, 75, you know, New York was going through a gang warfare all throughout the state, especially in the inner city. But we had to find a way to come together. We had to find a better way to communicate without killing each other. So battles became important to represent your neighborhood, to do it with pride, but people wouldn't be killed. You know, we had to find a way how to become peaceful about it. Yeah. But at the same time, addressing the issues, because when hip hop started, we were talking about the issues about poverty. We were talking about police brutality, gentrification. Yeah. You know, these things really mattered. And we want to make sure that people understand that this message still needs to continue. That's why the activism part is about all of those that get it. They understand that you have to do the work. Yeah. Other than just, you know, being out there, you have to do the work, you have to represent, but you also have to find those who are doing it so they can lead you. Yeah. And I'm grateful that, you know, of the opportunity that, you know, for our brothers and sisters that are all going to be on the panel from different genres, from different eras, from different levels, in different states.
Who's going to be on the panel?
We got brother Hakeem Green. That's one beautiful brother too from Channel Live. He also, you know, in his city out there in New Jersey, he's been addressing 24 hours of peace. Wow. Where the gun violence has really, you know, in Trenton, New Jersey, if I'm correct, you know, Newark, New Jersey, where it's such an issue that it became. But this addresses it, you know, and it's been very successful how hip hop is used as a tool to educate, to empower, but at the same time, what's the message?
That's right.
And for those who may not know Hakeem Green by name, you definitely know his song Spark Madism, you know, hip hop classic. Yeah. We also have Dupree Kelly, who's one of the founding members of Lords of the Underground. Wow. And he's now a city councilman. So he's going to be on the panel. We have Pam Africa, who's, you know, renowned activist. And then we have Dr. Yasser Payne from the University of Delaware, who teaches a course on hip hop activism and social justice.
And that's so dope, right? Because when people just think hip hop is just the music and the entertainment, just the level of responsibility that comes with activism with it, of getting people together. It's more, and I read today, it's, you know, hip hop, when it, in the 80s, it started creating this religion, if you so to speak, bringing people together, speaking about things that matter in the community, which is activism, right? And then leaving people out to go live their lives according to what is good out there. So I can see that. Last year I went and again I was blown away. I walked in there like didn't expect the b-boys, you know, the breakdancing. Oh shoot! Didn't expect the graffiti wall, which my daughter absolutely loved. Is that going to happen this year?
Yep. Yeah, this year we're actually going to have Brother Leon Rainbow, who leads one of the biggest graffiti battles in New Jersey, and he's going to come out here facilitating. But we're calling all other people to battle. This is a battle. And what I mean by that, so they're going to be pulling out categories that have to do with social justice, and they're going to have to tag about issues that matter in our community.
Word?
Yeah. Okay. And the same thing with the MC battles, you know, which is led by Brother Matt Ills of Grind Time Now. So people are not going to be battling each other. They're going to be battling the topics. They're going to pull the topics out of a hat, and that's what's going to matter. That's what's going to make a difference. So we want to test the levels of the MC. You know, but at the same time, are you aware? And we want to make sure that our people know, because Melly Mel did something beautiful called The Message back then. Right. When he was addressing that already, you know, about the conditions that were going on in the neighborhood. We got to continue that, you know, because once again, I have to tell people that hip hop, if there's no education, if you're not learning from it, if there's no knowledge, you can't call it hip hop.
Oh, I love it. Hey, Dennis, throw that flyer up real quick. I want to make sure everyone see this flyer because we're talking about the hip hop activism and social engagement. October 26th, which is a Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. 5 p.m. From 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. 2301 Kentmore Parkway, Wilmington, Delaware 19806. For sponsorship, vending information, they can reach out to Grouchy Greg, Grouchy Assistant at allhiphop.com, and is Boleto at DELART.org. Make sure you check that out. This is going to be an amazing event. I want to ask you guys this. What is your favorite song, hip hop song, that has to do with social justice?
Girl, you tackle that one first.
Oh, damn.
I'll put you on the spot.
It would be more like a Mortal Technique. I think he probably brings something, an element, just listening to any of his albums can empower you. Feel like you're reading a history book every time, the brother speaks. So
Okay.
I can honestly say that. So if anybody out there, just look up a Mortal Technique and look up, what is the message that is, especially what he's providing. You're going to be empowered by one of them. So,
Okay.
For me, I would say, and it's not because Flavor Flav is a guest, but it's definitely the whole album, Public Enemy. It takes a nation of millions to hold us back. I mean, it was such a revolutionary sound that dropped. The Bomb Squad introduced the production crew. The Bomb Squad introduced a whole new sound. I mean, Chuck and Flav on that album are talking about so many different things, from prison to 911 being a joke.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Which brought light on the fact that the disparity in response times to people of color or black people versus other communities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that album for me was just so transformative. I mean, I remember being in high school and cutting class so I could go to the library and research and read who these people were that they were name dropping on that album. You know what I mean? And it just put me on a whole separate journey of hip hop production, how I made my own beats and produced music. I mean, it's just an incredible piece of work, a work of art.
Next question, and one of the iconic questions of all times, right? When did you fall in love with hip hop?
I mean, I know for me, I was in 5th grade. You know what I mean? I know exactly what I was doing, where I was doing it. In my neighborhood, I grew up in Brookside, and around the corner from me was Kimberton. And I remember going out into the apartments and seeing a big circle of people, somebody in the middle breakdancing, and I was like, "That's it. This is it. This is it.
This is it."
And I started breakdancing, then I started trying to do graffiti, then I started rapping, and it just continued on all the way up to high school and out into where I am now.
Wow. How about you, Iz?
I didn't even know I was doing hip hop. I just knew when we were growing up in Brooklyn, Flatbush, b-boying, and for us, we were just living it, So later in life, when I realized, looking back, like, dang, I didn't realize, they were calling it hip hop. We were just doing what we loved to do.
Right.
So it just became, looking at it from a perspective as I got older, learning more about the culture, the reason, and the purpose. And one movie that I think it really influenced me was called The Warriors. And The Warriors is actually a true story that a lot of people don't really realize. It's based on the Ghetto Brothers in New York. It's about a gang that was the most biggest gang in New York. And you had to go through trials, to get to the different stations or a different part of the city. When you look at the Ghetto Brothers and what they had to do, you be like, and you look at the Warriors, you're like, hold up, this is the same story. Even Cyrus's part was important. They always had that part happen in New York to gather. And that's when they made, they started building about, we need peace. We need to find a better way. And Cyrus did get killed, actually, from the Ghetto Brothers side.
Wow.
So that they were just imitating what happened on the streets.
Right.
So it was the Warriors that really planted that seed in my mind. I was fascinated by it. So that's where I started. So.
I love it. And with that, it all brought it to full circle again. You guys are doing what you love based because of the music and the culture and the art. And again, thank you both for doing that, man, because you guys, it's just the like when you, and put the flyer back up for me real quick, Dennis. When you look at the flyer, right, you see that is Rodney Square, right? In the early 80s. And look how many people are out there in Rodney Square. And again, in the 80s, when downtown wasn't really cultivated for a generation like this. And just to have, these photos, because you have a lot of these photos within the art museum that tell a story about hip hop. I mean, good Lord, can you still hit that move, Grouchy?
I can still hit it, but not without banging my shoulders and smacking my head on the floor.
But no,
I don't do it anymore.
Again, October 26th, Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Make sure you come out. And what's up? What you got?
Yeah. I just wanted to emphasize on something. I'm telling to all my brothers and sisters out there. There are 3 levels of battles. There's the MC battle to register for. You can read on the delaware.org or allhiphop.com. Also, too, the B-boy battle, the B-girl battle, the breaking battle, and we're talking graffiti battle. Let's bring our culture back to life because it exists here.
Yeah.
If we're looking back at that picture in 1983 that happened right here at Rodney Square, there is a scene here. And nobody would have known this. This was dug out actually through the archives. And that's the beauty about it. Nobody knew about this story about the battle that's between Delaware and Philadelphia and people from New York. It was a battle that happened right here at Rodney Square. But all I'm trying to say is I'm calling out the whole entire state of Delaware. Let's represent.
Yeah.
You know, because there are other people coming from other states. And they want it. It's a $500, you know, for all the prizes for first place, second place $300, third place $100. But the point is, you're walking out with something.
Right.
But let's represent.
Right.
I have to say one thing too before we wrap up. Each year at this summit, we have a local angle.
Okay.
Right. Last year's local angle was we were uplifting all of the artists who put out records in the early 80s and early 90s,
Okay.
who maybe never got their just due because it was a different time period. There was no internet, there was no social media, and so we highlighted that. This year, I can't give it away, but if you are from Delaware, you are going to want to come out and hear information that you do not know about this state and its role in the founding of the entire music business.
Hold on. So you mean to tell me, right? And I'm just going to go off what you said, right? That Delaware has a pivotal role in the creation of the music business or the
creation of the entire music business.
Are you serious?
I mean, I can't cuss on here.
Yeah, you can. We on the network.
No, but I'll keep it clean. But yes, you know, Delaware played a pivotal role in the creation and the founding of the modern music business. The entire thing.
That's huge. That is.
It's an incredible story.
Okay.
It's an incredible story, and the goal of bringing this up is to inspire the local artists and the local community here. You know, a lot of times I'm out here and people always say, well, who came from Delaware and what came from Delaware? And even though there are a number of big people that have come from Delaware who have done things in the music business, this state, someone from this state is responsible for the founding of the entire music business.
Well, look, I can't wait till October 26th to get there so I can hear this, and just like everyone else.
And there's so much. I know we're trying to touch things. We even got T. Eric Monroe too, you know, who was one of the amazing photographers who caught. You know, we're talking from Big Pun, from Method Man, Lauryn Hill. So you're gonna see the photography of the untold stories of the '90s hip hop. And he'll be there too as well. And we're going to have a whole exhibit, and also two of our local artists who have been painting beautiful portraits of social justice and activism through hip hop. So you're gonna get a lot this day. And also too, let's not forget the vinyl records. There's gonna be plenty of people out there who love vinyl records. This is the place you're gonna want to be at.
You can't miss that. So we got everything from dynamic panel discussions from hip hop pioneers, breakdancing battles, DJ battles, MC battles, graffiti battles, photo exhibitions, turntable history. That's gonna be dope as hell. Food trucks, hip hop vendors, and the vinyl record sales. A whole day wrapped of activism, art, entertainment, and just dope stuff.
Yes, sir.
All right. Tickets?
Free. Open to the public, but you have to register. So because, you know, of Flav's popularity, you know, we're expecting, you know, a good amount of people. So it's free and open to the public. But if you go to allhiphop.com/summit, SUMMIT, allhiphop.com/summit, you can go there and register.
All right. I love it. All right, gentlemen. Anytime you need to come back, you know the rules. Just take the keys and just come.
Right. We'll be back in 2 hours.
Right. Yes. Spark everything up. All right, gentlemen. Thanks again for what you're doing for the hip hop community, man, and keep it going. And before we get out of here, since we're on the topic about the Delaware Art Museum, it's another thing that you got going on October 24th right now, and I would love for you to chat about.
2 days right before the Hip Hop Summit, we have our 5th annual Dia of the Muertos, Walking Among the Ancestors. If anybody who's been to this beautiful Aztec ceremony that takes place at the Delaware Art Museum, it's a way to honor our ancestors, our past loved ones. It's going to be done authentically by all the people, like I said, that especially the Aztec community. And we're gonna have a lineup so beautiful. There's gonna be food vendors, and that's from starting at 4 p.m. the ceremony starts. And I want everybody out there who has a picture of their loved one to bring one so we can put it in the altars. And there's gonna be plenty of altars. And at the same time, the reason why we do that is so we can honor them and remember them. We also bring a special food to their plate. In other words, everybody brings something special that they used to love to eat. You put it on the table and to make sure that their spirits too are eating as well in the other world. I just want to say, and that too is free for the people. And that's going to happen Thursday, October 24th from 4 to 8 p.m. Expect something beautiful, cultural, strong. And we're doing that with La Catrina Mia. If anybody knows her, they know how she spreads around the awareness about it and how to honor our culture.
I love it. The 24th to the 26th, weekend at the Delaware Art Museum.
Yes.
I was going to say weekend at Bart Bernie's. Weekend at the Delaware Art Museum, where you can get, again, if you're a MC, sign up for the battle. Graffiti artists, I might just pull out my spray cans from back in '88 and get down and
find out
and come out with my best b-boy moves. But again, gentlemen, I'll see you there. I will definitely be in the building. And we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back, because if you're into just giving back to the community, participating in some type of fitness, DETV will be, and myself will be hosting the 5K for the Claim My Community Center on the 28th. Am I right? I got it going on. I'm remembering stuff today on the 28th.